This is lesson 1-4, square roots and cube roots on page 28. Here is example 1 on page 28. It says Leah is building a birdhouse for purple martins, birds that prefer cube-shaped birdhouses. What are the dimensions of each square piece of wood Leah needs to build the 216 cubic inch birdhouse? So our very first step is for us to find the important information, and we're going to circle it. So I think it's important that it's cube-shaped, and we're going to think about a cube. A cube is made up of squares. Every face of that cube is the same sized square. And then we're looking for dimensions of each square piece of wood that Leah needs. And we know that it's 216 cubic inch birdhouse. All right, let's move on from there. Your book is very, very into visual representations. So they drew you a picture of a cube. This is going to represent the birdhouse. And they have put in all of the important information. They have said that the volume is 216 cubic inches. So let me highlight or underline that. And we know because every side is a square, all the sides are the same number. So they're going to use the same letter, S for side. So volume is normally length times width times height. But because all of those are the same letter, they simply said that the volume, 216, is equal to a side times a side times a side. And then from there, they changed this into our shorthand notation, S cubed. You're going to notice that they give you a vocabulary definition. A number that is a cube of an integer is a perfect cube. A cube means it's 3 of the same factor. In this case, it's something times itself is 216. So if you don't know the side, but you know the perfect cube, to undo that is called finding the cube root. And it has a fun little symbol. Do you see this symbol right here? It looks like the square root, but there's a little 3. That means we're looking for 3 identical factors that make 216. So they've done this for you, but I want to walk you through my calculator key. So this is the calculators that I have in my room. If you happen to have a different calculator, you're going to have to wait till I come back. Or you can borrow one of my calculators and follow along. So to do this on my calculator, you would hit 3. Then you would hit the second key. The second key is in the top left-hand corner. And then you're going to hit this key. That is right next to the 7. And then you're going to type in 216, and you're going to hit enter. And your answer will come out to be 6. Now, just a side note, the reason you do that is because if I was looking at my calculator buttons, this right here, above it in white is this symbol. If you ever want what's written on the face of the calculator above a calculator key, that's where the second comes in. So 3, second, this is right next to the 7, 216, enter. Once you know that each dimension is 6, then that means if we have our square, this side is 6 and this side is 6, and so those are the dimensions of each square that makes up a face of the birdhouse. All right, we have a cube-shaped art sculpture that has a volume of 64 cubic feet What is the length of each edge of the cube? All right, so you're looking for three numbers, the same three numbers. When you multiply them together, you're going to get 64. You might be able to use your cube list to figure that out, or maybe try the calculator keys. Either way, I want you to go ahead and figure this out and then come back for checking. All right, so if you used your cube root, remember we had a list and it looked like this: 1 times 1 times 1, 2 times 2 times 2, 3 times 3 times 3, 4 times 4 times 4 would give us, let me undo what just happened, 4 for every edge. If, on the other hand, you wanted to use the calculator, you would have hit 3, second, this is right next to the 7, 64, and then you would hit enter, and you would also find that each length of an edge is 4 feet. We are now on page 29. This is example number 2. And I need you to be very careful when it comes to symbols. So you're going to notice cube root. That means I need 3 factors multiplied together, 3 of the same factors multiplied together to get 64. But if it's only a square root, then I only need 2 identical factors multiplied together to get 100. Square root means I have 2 identical factors that make 49. But then we're back to cube root is 3 identical factors multiplied together to get 8. So pay attention to how many factors you are looking for. I want you to go ahead and try these. You can either use your square and cube list, or you can use your calculator keys. But I want you to do A, B, C, and D, and come back when you're ready for checking. Here are my answers. On letter A, 3 times 3 times 3 makes 27. For B, 5 times 5 is 25. For C, 9 times 9 is 81. And for D, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Star all the ones that you have correct, or fix any that are incorrect. This is example 3 on page 29. It says Sean cuts 1 sheet of colorful poster paper to cover the bulletin board exactly. What are the dimensions of the poster paper? And remember, a lot of the time your book loves to give you information in a picture. So we know the area of that board is 144 square inches, and we know that it's going to be a square, which means something times something has to equal 144. Now that seems an awful lot like a square root. So if you look over here, they square rooted it, and they found out that each side is 12. But that's not what they asked. They asked for the dimensions. So make sure you know not only is each side 12, but the dimensions are 12 by 12. This is a try it on the bottom of page 29. I want you to go ahead and finish it. Pause me while you're working and come back when you're ready to check. I filled out their boxes, but I think we could have done it just as easily with a picture of a square. Something times something makes 9. It's a 3 by 3 tablecloth. Please turn to page 30. This is your key concept. What you need to remember out of this lesson is that when you have the cube root of a number, you are looking for 3 identical factors. When you are looking for the square root of a number, you are looking for 2 identical factors. Sometimes you can use your cube and square list, and other times you're going to use the calculator. In addition, it's important that you know that cubing a number, whoops, I meant for that to be a highlighter. Let me change that to highlighter. Cubing a number and cube rooting a number, those are inverse operations. They undo each other. Same thing with squaring a number and square rooting a number. They undo each other. They are inverse operations.